comes out and says that more banks will fail. Well, this isn't a surprise. We knew that something like this was gonna happen. But when he went up to 60 Minutes and said this,
certainly there will be some banks that have to be closed or merged out of existence because of this. That'll be smaller banks, I suspect, for the most part.
What? I said to myself, oh, we're in trouble. He thinks that everything is manageable, which I totally understand. In his position, he's supposed to have rose-colored glasses on. I understand everything is gonna end up the way that he wants it to. It's in the playbook, right? The playbook is to have a soft landing, no recession, not too many people losing their jobs. Inflation will come down to 2%. Everything will happen with no recession. But I'm just here to say that, is that really the case right now, today? We're going to talk about it, guys. My name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel. As always, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help out the channel, guys. And make sure you look in the pinned comment and in the description. I have a newsletter. Yes, a newsletter that will give you tremendous value. And guess what? It's free. You cannot beat free. Guys, listen. The Fed came out and said commercial real estate is a manageable problem, but some banks will close. Powell. He's basically saying that, I know what's happening with commercial real estate. It's falling off of a cliff. And if you don't believe me, I just made this post on my community post, guys. Take a look at this. Why New York City apartment buildings are on sale for 50% off. Am I? Is this a alternate universe? 50% off, guys. Now, I know a lot of you guys say,
well, Orlando, it's rent control, it's insurance, it's all these things.
Well, okay. Okay, it is those things. What does that matter? It's 50% off.
Oh my God.
You don't think this is gonna be an issue in commercial real estate? Now, I just want to forewarn you. I did say in previous videos that the contagion was going to get bigger. I went onto other people's channels and I was like, listen, commercial real estate is not looking good, guys. Then everybody was like,
this Orlando guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He thinks it's going to be 50, 60% off on commercial real estate in some sectors, in some areas. Huh, he's crazy.
You see.
The Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, is predicting that more small banks will likely close or merge due to commercial real estate weaknesses. But the problem is ultimately manageable. I tell you guys this all the time. The Fed is a sit on the fence Fed. He will do anything to not sway the market or alarm the market one way or the other. He will give you the most politically correct answers. And him being on 60 Minutes and quote unquote giving an expose on what's happening in the market, it's no different. All he did was sit on the fence. It could go wrong, but it could go bad. There's a 50-50 shot of it going elsewhere. But I'm here to tell you this, as the Fed, everything will be okay. That is what he's always telling you guys. It will be okay. Things may get worse, but more than likely they won't. But there's a possibility that it could. That is what he's saying. And then it goes on to say, I don't think there's much risk of a repeat of 2008. Powell said, referring to the financial crisis 16 years ago that took down the biggest institutions on Wall Street, as well as hundreds of banks across the United States. I do think it's a manageable problem. Why in the beginning of 2024 did this now come up? Well, the easy answer to this is a regional bank came out that it had some toxic assets and whatnot, and they cut their dividend. Now, here it is. It says the new concern about a regional bank that was triggered by a $116 billion commercial real estate lender in New York, Community Bank Corp, which shocked Wall Street last Wednesday when it slashed its dividend, reported a surprise quarterly loss and stockpiled millions for future loan losses related to commercial real estate holdings. I'm here to tell you, listen to me. Commercial real estate is, especially in office, retail, and now we're getting into multifamily. It's bleeding over. A lot of people took on a lot of debt. We're talking about individuals who shouldn't have even been able to get a loan. I'm talking loans for hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. These syndications that everybody was telling you to do on YouTube, these guys were going out getting hundreds of millions of dollars of loans off the back of people who thought that they wanted to get into real estate and thought that they were going to make a ton of money. There's just so many bad loans, guys. And the the values of these properties are dropping. They weren't bought off of current rents, current expenses. They were all bought in future expenses. So I know that the Fed wants you to believe that this is nothing like 2008, nothing. And he may be right when it comes to the residential portion, but the commercial portion, guys, the commercial portion, it's totally crazy. Values are dropping so bad in commercial real estate. This is the reason why you're seeing 50, 60% off on properties. And who's going to take that loss? Who's going to take the big hit? It's going to be the banks. The banks make the loans, and the landlords and owners are handing the keys back to the banks. And they're saying, listen, I made a bad choice. I didn't know what I was doing. I should have never bought this property to begin with. Matter of fact, you shouldn't have even lent it to me. Here's the keys. They're going to take the 50, 60% loss. And now you're starting to see this on the balance sheets, and all of these banks who made these bad loans, the bill is going to come due, guys. The bill is going to come due because a lot of these banks think that they could sell these loans to individuals who will pay the exact amount or a premium to get into these properties. This is not 2-3 years ago, guys. This is not 2-3 years ago where you just can go, hey man, look, the rents are going to skyrocket. If you buy now, even though you're buying at a price that's the future in 3, 4, 5 years, if you buy right now, you're going to be getting in at the beginning, and you're going to make so much money in the 10 years that you own this property. You're going to wish, if you don't buy it now, you're going to wish you bought it. Now these same people are saying, I really do wish I didn't buy it. This whole scenario when it comes to the economy is based off of bad debt. The New York-based lender fell 38% on Wednesday and another 11% on Thursday, dragging the rest of the sector down with it. The stocks recovered Friday, but dropped once again on Monday as New York Community Bancorp fell more than 10%, guys. Regional banks are particularly vulnerable because they hold a lot more exposure to these properties than larger rivals. For banks with more than $100 billion in asset, commercial real estate loans only account for 13% of total credit. For smaller banks, it accounts for 44% of total bank credit. Guys, listen, regional banks hold so much commercial paper, guys. It's their bread and butter. This is where they can lend out the most amount of money and get the most bang on their return when it comes to interest rates. So to be able to compete with these larger institutions, they are doing loans that the other guys won't do. You wouldn't be able to be some of these smaller guys who have no experience in real estate, who don't have a background in real estate, and go into a Chase and get a $100, $200, $300, $400 million loan and say, yeah, I'm doing syndication. You can do that in a regional bank. You can go to a regional bank and do that. And this is the reason why they're stuck in this position. Now, they're not doing that anymore because the cat's out of the bag, right? They understand that they should have never been doing this to begin with, but they still hold all of that paper on their balance sheets. And I know a lot of you guys are looking and saying, well, Orlando, the Chases and the Wells, those guys aren't going to fail. And I'm saying, you're right. I'm not saying any of the big five will fail. I'm not saying that at all. But the little guys, the guys that you go to your credit union, the regional banks that you guys use, give you a shot if your credit isn't like perfect or whatever, right? They will give you a better interest rate on your car loan. Those guys are going to get hit. Those guys that are in your local community, those are the lenders that are going to take the biggest hit. And you're going to start seeing a consolidation of those guys, either by going out of business and just that's it, or they're going to get ate up by the Chases and Wells and whatnot and bought for pennies on the dollar. And why is this so important? Because if those community banks stay alive, they're going to take on the culture of Chase, Wells, and everyone, all of the other big five. You're going to start seeing fees go up. You're going to start seeing more aggressive interest rates. You're going to start seeing all these changes happen when you thought,
Hey, look, I've been banking with you guys for 20 plus years. Why are you adding $50 annual monthly fees? Why are you charging me nickel and diming me for everything that I do?
it's because last month they were bought out by Chase. Last month they were bought out by Wells. This is what you're going to see. And I know Powell doesn't really care who buys it or if they go out of business and whatnot, but you should. You should care. And this is the reason why videos like this are so important. If you want to have one of these smaller banks, you need to pay attention to figure out if one of the big five are going to purchase one of it and change the culture of your banking relationship. Again, this is the reason why I say you should not be loyal to these companies, to these banks. You need to do everything in your power. And I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, and I will continue to say, you need to do everything in your power to put you and your family first.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
You and your family first. Whatever that is, if that means that you have to move your bank account to another place because it benefits you more as a customer, because with your family and yourself, then do that. Don't think that you have to stay loyal to these guys and that in the future, 10 years from now, you think that you being with them for 30 years will make them approve a loan. It will not, guys. You know what will make them approve a loan? Your credit, your income. They're going to do everything else that another lender or another bank will do. Don't think that loyalty is one of the top 2 factors that will get you further with a bank. It will not, guys. They are not loyal. And you shouldn't be either. As always, guys, I hope you got value out of this content, guys. I really do. But you know you won't get all of your information from this one video. I need you to watch this video right here. It will give you information on the housing market, financial news, get into your first rental property, guys. And trust me, you will love it. The value that you will get from it will be gold, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.